everyone to the sixth interview in Micro Society's new video series, Adventures with Jaida. We recognize youth activists who are working to make a difference in the world. I'm Carolyn Richmond, standing in for Jaida, who could not be with us today. Today, we have the pleasure, though, of meeting Lesein Mutunkei, a 17-year-old soccer star, environmentalist, founder of Trees for Goals, and now author of the recently published book, Education Champions, Stone Soup for a Sustainable World. Lesein Mutunkei. He joins us from Nairobi, Kenya. Lesein, congratulations on your many successes, which have come about by combining your great loves of nature and football, or as we call it in the States, soccer. So much has happened to you since the last time we met, but let's start at the beginning.
Wow, thank you for such an amazing introduction. As a young kid growing up, I was always into different sports and athletics. And so I played tennis, rugby, basketball, and basically all types of sports that I could play. And I also did a lot of athletics, as you can see here with the medals showing. Also, as I grew up, my family and I, extended family, really enjoyed being in the outdoors, and that was going for nature walks and planting trees at our grandparents' house. And we do it occasionally, like every time we had someone's birthday, we'd plant some trees. Anytime we went for Easter. And so I always grew up planting trees from a young age. But at around the age of 12, I read about actually on an article that talked about the forest cover loss in Kenya. And I didn't really understand the size of, how many, I think it was hectares that we were losing. But what I did is that I decided to change the measurements from hectares into the sizes of football pitches. And when I finished my calculations, I found out that we actually lose forest cover the size of 130 football pitches. Yeah, so it was pretty shocking to find out that we were losing that much. And so I decided that I needed to do something about it. And really, at first, it was more of a, just understanding the size of 130 football pitches was, really surprising. And so when I talked about it with my mom, and, what I told her is that, we're going to lose the things that we really enjoyed to do, and I really enjoyed to do, which was, going for nature walks in the forest and, climbing those trees and just being outside in the environment. And so I then also heard about the story of Wangari Maathai, who was the first African woman Nobel Prize winner. And she talked about the story of the hummingbird. And so the moral of the story was to do your little thing, and that will help make the difference. And so for me, I decided to do my little thing now by bringing together the two things that I loved, which is my love for football and my love for outdoor, and coming up with Trees for Goals by committing that for every goal I score, I plant a tree. And that's really how it started. And how it's been going so far is that as I went on, I learned more and more about, the environment, the climate crisis, and a lot of different, like the plastic pollution, the air pollution, and all the disasters that are happening to our planet. And I realized that there needed to be more of an urgency towards protecting the environment. And so I needed to make more of an impact on the environment. And so I increased the number of trees planted per goal, and I changed it to 11. And specifically 11 because once the goal is scored, all the teammates contribute to that goal. And so it wouldn't have been possible if all 11 players weren't there. So each tree represents the 11 players in the team. I've been also able to spread it into my football club, the one that I play in, Likindogo, and my school, St. Mary's, with the football team. Also, my friends have been able to take interest, and one of them particularly called Momo, decided to take up the initiative for basketball. And so he created his own initiative called Hoops for Trees. And now for the basketball team, he records the number of points they score. And we go with him with my football team now to go plant the trees in one of the local forests. And so, yeah, it's going pretty well, really. And yeah. Yes, about Giving Tuesday. It was more of an award. And so basically they were just giving us mentorship and skill sets on, different ways of acquiring funding. And the one I specifically chose was crowdfunding. And the reason I picked it is because it also creates awareness about my story and my initiative. And so that awareness would, make an impact on someone by hopefully them planting a tree because they heard my story or something like that. And also they understand towards the cause they're giving their funding to. So yeah, with the Giving Tuesday, they were giving us some, it is weekly, like maybe 3 days in a week, on mentorship, on just some tips on how to, make sure that your, what do you call it, your crowdfunding is seen, and just how to communicate with people how to network with people online and get them to support your initiative. And so, yeah, it was a great experience, and we were able to raise, I think, like 15,000 and 15,000 Kenya shillings, and yeah, we were able to just put it back into the project by buying some wristbands, as you can see. And also buying, just some what do you call it? Some merchandise and also some trees to be planted. One of the things I think learned about myself was actually a lesson I took from my barber shop with a quote I saw, and this is something that really just helps me, keep motivation, keep able to be consistent with this whole trees for goals thing, because sometimes it can be a struggle to keep going for training, because training is not easy. It's not something where I just go there and always have a good time. It can be challenging, and so just being able to have the mindset to continue going, and yeah. So one of the things I took or I've learned as I've been going on is that, yeah. So the quote is, a minor setback is a setup for a greater comeback. And so with this small, sometimes not being able to get first place in this competition, or not being able to get the funding that I wanted, with those small on is just knowing that there's going to be much greater achievement that's going to come if I keep working towards my goal. And so I think that has worked well for me as far as I've come up till today. For me, art was always my escape route, really. And so it was always just a place where I could not only where I could express myself, but also just relax and be free and just be creative, basically. Have an open mind every time I'm drawing. And I was really focusing on African tradition, African jewelry, African culture, and it was a great experience because I was able to see the beauty of African jewelry and like the details in some of the pieces, and it made me realize just different things, to look at things differently, without missing the specifics, because some of the jewelry here was so detailed that until I drew him is when I realized that they put a lot of work into these art pieces. I mean, this jewelry. Mm-hmm. And so definitely I have a passion for it, and my mom does continue to encourage me to carry on with my art. And so yeah, definitely it's a free space for me. I really enjoy being in the creative side of the world. For me also, I still learn to, deal with some of the challenges. And definitely for me, just learning to not battle these challenges alone. And what I mean by that is just reaching out for help is definitely one of the best ways to gain confidence and start, whatever you want to do by simply asking for help, asking on how you should approach something, which direction you should head, and that can really make it a lot easier for you to tackle your challenge. And the person I look to, of course, which is kind of typical, is my mother. And yeah, just because she's easy to understand me, and also I feel free to explain myself and how I feel when I'm around her. And so for people who are struggling with, like, challenges to take the confidence or to start up something, or like a project, or whatever movement you are interested in starting, I think, because even I didn't know how to manage trees for gold. It was really just me with my idea, and then reaching out to people just to help me get a sense of direction on where I want to head. But of course, maintaining my idea, because it was, it came from me. And so definitely reaching out for help is the best way possible of dealing with those challenges. For young people specifically, a lot of times I felt, we as young people, we get a sense of always comparing each other to what the other person is doing. And this usually beats our confidence or our drive to do something, because we see that someone is excelling in one side, and they feel like they have to, in order to be successful, they have to follow the same path as this person. I would say that just to make sure that if you do what you love, everything else, plays the right way. Because comparing yourselves to, your peers, to family members, and, to your friends, can really be damaging to you, because you start to see yourself as a failure, really, because you're not doing something that your friend is doing. And so I just advise them to, not to compare yourselves to others, and just be patient, and time will come, really. I think the best way to start learning who you are is just by doing the things you love. Usually doing them alone is, the best way, because with peers, it can be a bit distracting, and it can also lead to, peer pressure and stuff. So definitely start by doing the thing you love, whether it's, reading, whether it's art, whether it's sports, whatever you really enjoy doing is the best way to find yourself, because I feel like that's the time where you really show who you are at that time, because you're showing what you love to do, you're doing what you love to do, and you're just in a high space where you feel that you're comfortable in this area. And so I think the best way to start is just by doing the things you love. And then later on, I'm not so big on meditation, but just being able to be, I think alone space is important, because, just to understand your body, really understand what your body wants, um, and then also another way is to write down your goals and like what you want to do. So by the end of this year, or by the end of this month, just writing down those targets will help you, get a sense of direction in like what type of things you want to do, and build your character as you go on.
Thank you so much for your patience. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. And remember, if you have a youth activist in your micro society school who would like to appear on our show, please send your nominations to us at bettertogether@microsociety.org. Thank you again, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Lesein.